Hi guys! It has been so long since I've done a book related video. Unfortunately, this one's going to have to be really quick because if you watched my last vlog, there's just so much going on right now. I'm a busy gal and Callum's decorating the kitchen right now. I'm not going to be selfish and take so much time doing something fun for me when he's working super hard for us. So I thought I'd do a really quick reading roundup for what I read in January. I had quite a good reading month in January, and I only read my Kindle actually. I didn't read a physical book this month, which I'm kind of shocked at. I do like the Kindle. I've been getting up so early. So for work, I start really early in the morning. So when it comes to weekends, a lie-in is like 7 o'clock, and I'm literally lay there, eyes wide open, like, what am I going to do now? So naturally I lift the Kindle up. The Kindle sits on my bedside table. It's so easy for me to lift up, and I read until Callum gets up. Depends how tired he is. I could have like 2 hours of reading time. Insane. So without further ado, let's get into it. What I read in January. Also just a cute wee one. Look how cute my Kindle is. My boyfriend got me it for Christmas. So I've got like a picture of him doing the tree the first year that we done the tree together. A picture of us when we were out for drinks one time. How cute. And then enemies to lovers, book girly, and then professional bookworm, and then just one more chapter. Sorry, I'm fully booked. How cute. How cute. So we're going to ignore the tan on my hands. I didn't wash it off properly. And it's just not coming. It's came off every part, like it's literally like a tie-dye and ombre all the way down. And then just these bits aren't coming off. It's infuriating. So the first book I read in January was Littered with Trouble. Look how cute it is. It's the first in the series. I did really enjoy this book. It's sort of cozy crime, so it featured this main character who'd had a little bit of a disturbance, shall we say, in her life, and she moved to the small town where her friend lives, and she bought an old bookstore. So she was in the process of sort of getting it sorted, so it was something for her, and she ends up finding some cats to come along with her. And while she's in the process of sort of moving her stuff in, there's just some trouble that the police end up getting a little bit involved in, and her and her friend end up getting to the bottom of it. I did really enjoy this book. I thought it was a nice comfort for January. I feel like January, if you watched my vlog, you know I was not having a great time. I was just really struggling with January blues. So it was a nice book for me to read in January, and I didn't feel a pressure to have to read it. I'd never heard anyone really talk about this book, so I didn't feel like I needed to feel a certain way, have any standards for it. Like, I just took it as it came, I read it. There was one point I considered DNFing it, but I was like, I just don't want to. It wouldn't make me feel good, so I continued reading it, and I'm happy I did. I really did enjoy it. I've not read any of the other books in the series. I don't think right now is what I'm after, but maybe in a couple of months I'll go back to them. For me, it was probably 3 out of 5 stars. It was really good. I liked the characters. I loved that there was books and cats involved, and it was a cozy crime. It was nice. It was really just what you see is what you get type thing. The second book I read in January was Boston Bolts Hockey War. Now, I had seen this recommended on someone's Bookstat, and I don't know who. Like, I think it was maybe just one of those ones that was on my like popped up, and I was reading just little quotes that they used to sort of promote or talk about it, and I was sold instantly. I absolutely loved this book. It was definitely, I want to say it was character driven. You saw the growth in the characters, the change of the characters, just very much character over plot. So it's about this girl who gets a new job, and in the job she ends up getting like a flat that she's able to stay in. Now she works for, I can't remember the company name, but she works for a company, and everyone who's really employed by them in that area tends to live there unless they choose not to. And it's to do with a hockey team, and she's also an ex-dancer. So while she's dancing, one of the hockey team members, don't know, walks in and just thinks she's amazing, and yeah, it goes on from there. You do see a lot of features of like texts and the actual story itself, so it was really good. I liked that it wasn't just one thing, it was broken up a little bit. It is enemies to lovers, which is so good. Sort of fake marriage, forced proximity, I suppose, as well. Like, it was just really good. It hit all the tropes that you sort of want, and I loved the book. Like, the minute I read it, like I started reading it, I was like, I don't want to put this down, and I binged it so quickly. I think I read it in about 3 days possibly. It was really good and I highly recommend. So for me, Boston Bolts Hockey War gets 5 stars. The third book I read in January was Throttled by Lauren Asher. I read my first Lauren Asher book in December. It was the Christmas novella, December Darling. Loved it. So it really sold me on reading Throttled, and I absolutely loved Throttled. I can't really tell if I think Throttled is character or plot driven. There is like a lot of character growth and character knowledge shared, like their history, them growing, all that sort of stuff. But there is quite a bit of plot in it, I suppose. But now that I think about it, I do think it's possibly character driven. Throttled follows the main character. I've forgotten her name. Anyway, it follows the main character and her brother, who is an F1, I believe, driver. And they're basically going to lots of different countries, and he's doing the races and she is essentially vlogging it all and sharing her experience and sharing sort of stories about like what goes on behind the scenes, doing some like interviews with the drivers, and then she meets a friend who also joins her with all these fun things. And I believe the second book follows the friend. I've not read it yet, but the main character's brother, Santiago, I know he gets called Santiago. Anyway, he has a partner who is Noah Slade, and Noah is notorious. He's got an awful reputation with women. He is always getting talked negatively about in the media. The main character, and it's going to really bug me that I can't remember her name. Wait. What is it? Maya. God, Maya is determined to see him in a better light and paint him in a better light. So she does so hard to make her brother and Noah become friends, essentially. I absolutely loved this book. I do think I'd love the series, but at the time I just wanted a little change. I know that my friends would absolutely love this. Elizabeth, you would love this. If you've not read it, read it. So good. I loved how it was sort of slower to medium pace, so it wasn't super fast. You did learn about the characters and see them individually before you ended up sort of seeing them become a unit, I suppose, within, for lack of better words, shall we say. I also liked how it is mainly character driven, but there is quite a bit of plot as well. There's a lot going on, and I do like the different characters. So you're seeing, I believe, so this is book 1, so you're seeing other characters who you know are going to have a book later in the series, and it's really interesting because you also then grow with their characters, which is really nice. So for me, Throttled is 5 star. I loved it. I loved how it made me feel, and it made me want to keep reading. I never really wanted to put it down, and to me that's what I would count as like a 5 star read, is that it hooked my interest and it didn't drop. I wanted to keep reading. I wanted to read more. So then the next book I read in January, and I can't believe it took me so long to get to it. It was Chestnut Springs. It was the first book in the Chestnut Springs series. Rhett Eaton, the man that you are. I absolutely loved Flawless. I loved the characters. I was really worried that actually I wasn't going to like Chestnut Springs, and then I started reading it and I wished I read it ages ago. I really liked Summer. I thought she was such like a good character. She was really strong, she was quite independent, but she was so like confident and feminine. I don't know, there's just something about her that I absolutely adored. And then Rhett, like, he comes along and he's like so nurturing with her, and he such a gentleman. I love Rhett Eaton. I also like how Chestnut Springs follows like different characters within the same book. Also, you've got Rhett and then Rhett's brothers, and the other books sort of follow the other people in the family. So they come back, the main characters in the first book or the second book, they come back, which is really exciting because you see like growth and you see development. So although there is plot, it is very character driven. For me, Flawless was 5-star. I loved it. I could not fault that book, and to be honest, I don't think I can fault Chestnut Springs. Moving on from that, my 4th book of January. 4th? Literature Trouble. War. Throttled. Reckless. No, Heartless. So my 5th book. So Reckless was my 4th book, and Heartless is my 5th book. My 5th and final book of January. I didn't think I would like it as much as I liked Flawless. Untrue. I don't think I liked it more. There was different things about it that I loved. I don't know. They're just so good. Like, I can't even put it into words. I actually think I might have liked Heartless more than I liked Flawless. I don't know. I think there are aspects of it that I loved more, but then I loved Flawless. I don't know. Oh, it's so hard. So Heartless follows Willa, who is featured in Flawless. It is Summer's best friend, and it follows her sort of in a way trying to find herself, and in turn she ends up at Wishing Well Ranch. She ends up sort of living with one of the brothers, Kate. Now you see a lot of development, like character development and growth in Willa, but you see so much of it in Kate as well. I think primarily there's a lot more focus on Kate's development, whereas Willa, like, you just see her confidence and her search for herself sort of not be this huge thing. Like, she ends up just sort of knowing who she is, which is, I think, for her age, because she's in her like early mid-20s, it's something that for me, because I'm the same age, I'm like, goodness, like, it was so nice to read that about someone in that age range feel the same way that I feel. So yeah, for me, Heartless, 5-star again. So good. I did start reading the next book in the Chestnut Springs series. Oh, wait, my Kindle's glitched. I did start reading Powerless on the last day of January, so like the 31st. I think I read like 10%, possibly. So yeah, I'm fair getting through them. So just come back for the February reading roundup because I'll be finishing it off. I was wondering if anyone has read the Chestnut Springs series and what you think of it. I know it is very popular. Silly little books. So Jennifer on TikTok, I know that she absolutely loves Chestnut Springs series, and I do too. I'm the new biggest fan. I think it could be my cowboy version of ACOTAR. I love ACOTAR. So it's like ACOTAR is fantasy and Chestnut Springs is cowboy. What did you guys read in January? I'm really interested to know. I think for February I am kind of keen to finish off the Chestnut Springs series, so it's like 2.5 books. So it leaves me 2 books. And I don't know what I'll read. I do kind of want to read, I've got some really good ones that I got given at Christmas time, like paperbacks. So I've got so many paperbacks I want to get through. Like, I want to start Magnolia Parks. I want to finish Throne of Glass that I started years ago. I want to read the Butcher and the Blackbird series. I want to start Caraval. I want to read Once Upon a Broken Heart series. There's so much. Like Murder on Lake Rada. I want to read them all. So yeah, tell me what you read in January and what you are thinking of reading in February. I don't know, are you guys mood readers? Do you plan? Like, what's the process? I like to think that I sort of plan, and I think for a while I was, but now I've become such a mood reader. Like, I downloaded Serpent and Dove thinking I was going to do that, and then I was like, no, I'm going to read Chestnut Springs. And that's like a full on, I feel like you've got to read Chestnut Springs in one go. So let me know what you're doing, what you're reading, and please also like and subscribe to this video. So I do some book like videos, and I also do some vlogs. Vlogs are just kind of more for funsies, but yeah, let me know if there's anything that you would like me to sort of talk about, if there's a genre that you're sort of wanting recommendations for, anything like that, please let me know and I will do it. I hope you all have an amazing day, an amazing week, and most importantly an amazing month full of love. I know that February, you know, I love February because we're getting a little bit closer to longer days, we're getting closer to the heat, but also it's just a month of love, and I do love. But I know that it can still be quite difficult in February because it's still a bit darker, it's still really quite cold. It does, you know, everything does still seem quite far away in terms of like the summer holidays, like being able to stay out a little bit later because it's nicer out, all that sort of stuff. So please take care of yourself, and let me know what you're reading. We can talk about that as well. I think that's always something that can keep you going. But yeah, happy February, guys.